Graphics. Ray Traced Ultra. Let's just crank it and see what it does. Right? Right? Why not? Why not? I'm excited. Yeah, so this, we're doing DirectX 12. I cranked it and it crashed 5 to 6 times. Let's do it. Let's see it. Uh-oh. Oh. 38, 36. Okay, what I think I'll do, because you have the... Come on, Mr. Controller.
Disco Cobra 2013 donated $10 through Super Chat. Has the PS5 version been released yet, or is it just this update? Do you need to purchase the update, or is it free for all platforms?
It's free as long as you already own The Witcher 3. And I mean, I gotta bind my controller again. But, come on. So it's free if you already own the game, and they did publish it for everybody. So you should be good to go. And it's just like an update file that downloads automatically, but it's big. It's like 45, 50 gigs. So it's basically like just re-downloading the whole game. Try DLSS. Okay, I will try that. 35 frames for ultra ray tracing is not the worst I've ever seen. So yeah, I mean, you see that the perspective angle shifted. The foliage, I think, is the biggest thing that I personally notice. It's just so much denser. You know, some of the mods I had would crank the foliage density, but this is on another level, you know, like you can't see the ground through the grass. And that's just freaking gorgeous. I mean, come on. I don't think I ever played Gwent in this save, actually. Oh, God. Yeah, see, he gets a little stuttery at times. Yeah, it's got a little delay. It still has that bug where sometimes audio doesn't play. Okay, but the big test, though, is at night. You guys remember in that Witcher video I posted on the main channel, at night is when the ray tracing really stood out, and that's where I want to test it. And I mainly want to see if, like, shadows cast, specifically on trees. Because on PS5, shadows do not cast on tree trunks. So, just nothing happens. It's really freaking weird. So we're gonna test it. By the way, if you like my 16 times the detail shirt,
16 times the detail.
LukeStevensTV.com. Okay, I'm gonna put it in chat. LukeStevensTV.com. My GPU is not approaching max utilization though. You guys see that? It's only at like 70, 75%, which is weird. But we're cranking it and we have the frame rate unlocked. There's no reason it should be struggling like that. That's weird. Okay, let's try this. This is the big test. Okay, let's see if frames just tank the moment we take out the, not that, torch. So you notice the lighting is far less aggressive with the torch. That's the first thing I noticed. It's way softer. Okay, are plants casting shadows? It doesn't look like it, but that would be a lot. I don't blame them for that. What about trees? Moment of truth. Nope. Trees still don't cast shadows. It's a little bit underwhelming. I mean, the light on Geralt's face looks amazing. For those of you who came in late, this is ultra ray tracing. So this is as cranked as you can set the game. Like, this is the absolute max. I mean, it is freaking gorgeous, but it definitely needs a little bit of refinement because it is a little stuttery. I turned off the plus boost for DLSS low latency and that helped. Interesting. Let's try that. This isn't really a super low latency or a game that really needs that. Was that under display? Make it a little more consistent. Back when I played this in like the good old days of the channel, I had, I think it was a 1080p monitor that went up to 60 hertz. And I played that on my 1070 that I saved up for ages. That's actually in the streaming PC that's running this stream. And I think I was able to play at like medium settings and get like a solid 60, and I felt so cool. Now I'm spoiled. Oops. So I've been playing Red Dead. I'm on the Steam Deck. I pressed the wrong buttons. I just downed a bunch of potions. Oh god. Okay. It is way darker with ray tracing mode on though. Way darker. Arc Spore. Let's see if I think the boost did help. Ow. What now, you piece of filth? Ow. Death March ain't no joke, dudes. Tried on PS5? We have, and it's great. No, HDR is all off. I still can't get HDR to work properly on Windows. It's just a wreck. Yeah, I see in daytime, daytime is one of those where if you play a lot in the daytime and you don't really like playing The Witcher at night, I don't think you really need to do ray tracing. Because like if we go into settings here, take a mental picture of this, okay? Take a mental picture of this. We're at like 55, just under 60 frames, right? If we go into settings and then we go video, graphics, and let's just go in here and set it to like just regular ultra. It reloads everything. Now we have double the frames. Okay, maybe not quite double once we're actually moving. But we have close to double the frames. And honestly, I don't think it looks that different. This is still with DLSS on, but I still don't think this looks that different, at least in the daytime. I think like you can see quality of lighting differences in Geralt's face, things like that, but nighttime is when you really notice it. If we up on Roach, let's actually go into the city and I'll show you kind of what I mean. Oh, Toussaint. Oh, I love you dearly, my dear. Okay, giddy up, horsey. Let's get it. Let's get it. On my 3-year-old PC, I can't hit 30 FPS with Ultra Plus. I might need to upgrade soon. What are you running? It is, like, everybody's been saying that graphics have kind of stagnated in the last couple of years. It feels like everything is just trying to keep up with, like, what The Last of Us Part 2 was able to do pretty comfortably. And, like, that's everybody's goal is just to do The Witcher 2, or The Last of Us Part 2. I don't know if we'll actually, like, see major lifelike improvements. We've seen the demos that they've shown off for like Unreal Engine 5 and they look great, of course, but I don't know practically if we're gonna see games that look like that in effect, you know. But the one thing I will say is that the ray tracing stuff does make games look a lot better and the lighting helps a lot, but the performance cost is just so high for so many people. Like, maybe with this, like, 4080, 4090 gen, it's way better with DLSS 3. I don't know. We have a couple people in here. Like, I know Imperium's got a crazy, sick 40 series, but, like, the 4080, 4090 have not really seen a huge amount of popularity. I just think people aren't that into it. It's kind of like the 20 series when they announced that. They're like, yeah, it runs everything better, but like mostly for ray tracing. And people are like, but even with ray tracing and those improvements, it's still at like 25 frames a second, you know? Jose, thank you.
Jose Garcia donated $4.99 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
How do you dye that armor red? I have that armor but in black and seen it in red on YouTube, but can't figure out how to do it.
It's been a while. I think that there is a way. Oh yeah, you see this one? Olgierd von Everic's sword. I just keep it. I'm gonna set it up in the villa, but it's these dyes specifically. So you go into Toussaint specifically and you can find the different dyes and then you can apply it to different gear. So like yellow armor dye must be wearing Witcher gear. No, but that's only Witcher gear. In that case, I don't know. I could have sworn it was just with this. That's how you do it. but maybe not. It's been so long since I got this kitted up. DLSS 3 and frame generation also doesn't work properly on this game. Yeah, it's such a bummer that, like, after all this time, they're still releasing stuff like this. It's probably an engine issue at the end of the day, which is why they moved to Unreal, because they're just like, yeah, we'll let Epic handle it. Thank you, my friend. You guys are popping off. Thank you.
Disco Cobra 2013 donated $10 through Super Chat.
That's what's up.
I have a 2070 Super with a Ryzen 3700X, but I was thinking of upgrading to a pre-built 4090 computer. They are available in some places. Gonna run me almost 4K for what I...
Yeah, that is a meaty boy. I will say I have a partnership with... like, they've run into stocking issues with 4090s specifically. Apparently a lot of pre-built distributors have run into issues where suppliers aren't sending them the cards that they bought. It's like a whole thing. But I have a partnership with Apex PCs, and we were going to announce it in November, ran into delays. We're going to announce it in December, ran into more delays. Looks like now it'll be an announcement for January. But I partnered with them, and they're building out all sorts of PC pre-built kits and stuff for my viewers at discounts. So if you're interested, like probably first week of January, I think even right now, hold on. Apex Gaming. Please hold. Please hold. Oh, dude, I love the Witcher music so much. Please hold. I'm finding it for you. I'm finding it. But yeah, if you're looking at pre-built gaming PCs, these guys do very solid work, and they're actually hooking me up with they're hooking me up with my next PC that we'll have in here in the next couple of weeks, actually. So yeah, check them out. You know, they do good stuff. Oh, I forgot how many oils I had. I just on the PS5 I started over, and so I have all of this stuff, and I have like one oil, I have like 2 potions crafted so far, 1 bomb. So to come in here and see a bunch more is just very satisfying, you know. Yeah, there's good deals on that stuff. The nice thing about the pre-built guys is that they have the inventory, whereas like my buddy Michael, he was helping a friend of his build a PC, and Michael's always just a super sweet guy, and he helps. Like if you just go up to him and you're like, hey, can you help me spend like a week putting together a PC? He will take time out of his day for a week to help you build a PC. He just loves it, and is very passionate about helping people get started on PC building. But he was helping, I think it was his cousin or like nephew or somebody, build a PC, and they wanted, I think it was not even anything super crazy. It was like a 3060 or something like that. Not like the most in-demand card ever, right? Except they could not find it anywhere. And they waited like 3 weeks, could not find one in stock anywhere. And this was like maybe 6 months to a year ago. But eventually they just ended up buying it from a scalper who was like some college student who happened to get one. And they ended up paying like $150 over MSRP, but they got it, you know, and for them that was worth it. So it just sucks that that's kind of what you have to do. Okay, take a mental screenshot of this. We're going to crank it back to ray tracing ultra, or did I already do that? I forgot. No, we didn't. Voila. Reload everything. I love that Geralt goes bald every time we do this. Okay, already I can see the shadows on the tree on the left on that blue wall are way better. The castle looks really interesting. It looks like the marble is like reflecting the light up, and it's kind of causing it to glow. I think that's what it's doing. I'm also going to turn off motion blur. I thought I had already done that, but Office Ready is the benchmark for PCs. I think for like grandmas shopping for their grandson's PC, that is. He can write me letters using Microsoft Outlook. By the way, I tried using Outlook. I tried to be like a like complex and sophisticated business owner with an Outlook account, I tried to do it. Outlook is just broken. I don't know what the deal is. It doesn't really work if you're tying in multiple Google accounts. Random inboxes do the priority sorting thing, and then junk mail is separated, and then other mailboxes don't do that. It's just a broken pile of garbage. But everybody recommends using it. And I can't find another singular app for email that does a good job of sorting out junk mail and can handle like 5 different Gmail accounts. If you have one, let me know. But yeah, it's like they wanted me to use Outlook.com, like whatever the web version of it is. And they're like, yeah, that's really the main version to use. It's like, no, we're not, no. Thunderbird. Is that an email thing? Is Thunderbird good? Proton. The key is that it has to be able to handle like 5 different Gmail addresses, and I need it to sort out like, you know, Gmail does. It needs to sort out promotions and ads and all that stuff. Just get rid of that. Yeah, this, so you're seeing some pop in with the shadows when we get close. So you see that right there? I think what it is these are the typical whatever rasterized shadows back here. If you look in the distance, see it popped out. I think that's what it's using. So that one right above Geralt's shoulder, that's a rasterized shadow, whereas this one is ray traced. But once we get close, it swaps to the ray trace shadow right here on the ground. Yeah, you see that? And then this one up here is going to swap. Right there. I would like it if they could do a smoother transition for that, because that's a little aggressive. I mean, the ray trace thing looks good, but playing the game, like that's kind of really annoying. Is it true of all of these objects? I think so. Yeah, you can see the resolution of the shadow changes. This is why you have to be so skeptical when you see like screenshots of a game and they're showing it off that way. Because screenshots, yeah, you can pause here and be like, look at those shadows. Wow, so realistic. Take a screenshot, it looks great. But when you're actually playing the game, it's just different because of the pop-in and the LOD shift. And all they have to do is like do a slight, maybe 1 second transition crossfade across the two. And I think that would fix the problem. Wouldn't be so aggressive. Sean, bro, Outlook is the only thing I can use in the Air Force. LOL really makes us feel futuristic. Yeah, I've heard stories. My dad was a Marine, and you know that was in the days before. It was like the 80s, but late 80s, early 90s. But he would tell me stories of some of the random stuff they had to do just because it's how you did things, and not because it was like smart or made the most sense. It's just, well, that's how we have to do it. So deal with it. You know, oh, you have to take this one piece of paper to get it signed by 15 people in order to do the one thing, when the one thing is like, you know, replace a screwdriver. It just didn't make sense. But, you know, they have the rules set in place that way. Did The Witcher 3 already have DLSS or FSR? I think it had DLSS. I do think it did have that. I don't know about FSR, but somebody could correct me on that. I do think it had DLSS before. Is ray tracing for The Witcher 3 good on PS5, considering how just going performance mode? If not, I mentioned this in the video, the dedicated video I did on the main channel. Just Luke Stevens, if you're not familiar. But in that video, oops, I just took a potion. In that video, I showed what the ray tracing does. It's not ray traced reflections. It's screen space reflections with something tweaked for like high resolution screen space reflections or something. I don't really understand it, but they're not ray traced reflections. And then as for the lighting is better with ray tracing turned on PS5, but pretty much only noticeable at night, if I'm being completely honest. And with that, like, it still has limitations. It still like drops by half the frame rate. You're going to run into tons of little issues that are just super annoying. I would probably play it on performance mode on PS5 if I'm being real. I think the biggest perk of this update is the improvement to foliage, density, crowd density, things like that. Texture quality is greatly improved. which makes playing on 4K screens way more noticeable and way more tolerable. But if you're playing for ray tracing on PS5, you're going to be disappointed. The fire also looks way better. Yeah, they did some work on that. If I pull out the torch, you just see how much softer the light is. It'll probably drive some people crazy that it just appears way darker now, but this is when ray tracing is at its best. You see those shadows being cast all around from that? Yeah. This is when ray tracing actually makes sense. But you really only notice it at night. Yeah, you see those shadows cast there? From that little ornate little tidbit. Those little details are what crank this up a lot, you know. That was underwhelming. What about Samum? Yeah, the shadows stay baked, but yeah, what is that? It's whatever. It's whatever. Honestly, if I could make one tweak, it's starting to drive me a little crazy. It doesn't feel like this torch is bright enough. It feels like this should generate a lot more light. Am I the only one that thinks that? Am I just overthinking it? Because it just feels like this isn't lighting up the space. Like, it feels like this torch should be lighting up that doorway a little more, but maybe not. What do I know? What do I know? I'm not a lighting engineer or whatever the crap. But let's get down to the water. I want to see what these PC Ultra ray traced reflections are like in the water. Let's go see. From a distance, the water looks weird, but you know what? We'll get down there and we'll see. 16 times the detail. Dude, I don't know if it is a lighting engineer, but you've got to have some crazy qualifications to get hired by a company like this to like design how their engine calculates lighting. That's all I'm saying. Like, you're not hiring Joe Schmo from Colorado State University. You know, you're hiring somebody who really knows their crap with lighting specifically, and then also they have to be like a crazy mathematician too. Yeah, see, this is just gorgeous. Look at this. The soft lighting through the windows. For those of you, I know we have a very international audience here. Do any of you guys know, who have traveled, what was like Toussaint mainly based off of? I know it's of course like the French countryside and things like that, but what place could you visit today that would just scream Toussaint? Where is this place in real life? What's the comparable place? Because I want to go to there. Chicago. Chicago. Hey, Jimmy Pescatelli. Yeah, so the pop-in is a little rough. Okay, at night, the ray traced reflections, it doesn't look like they're reflecting the light from the torches and the fire. I don't see any of that, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. Let's wait and see what it looks like in the morning. Oakland. Yeah, mid-70s Oakland. Oh, okay, yeah. You see here I can see the huge improvements to water. I mean, look at that. There I can see it. And you notice even when the camera clips off those buildings, they're still reflected in the water. On PS5, if you go like this, the reflections disappear because they're screen space reflections. Same with this. You won't be able to see the building above us because the screen doesn't show the buildings. So they can't like mirror it and flip it down to kind of fake it. But with this, yeah, that's sexy. That's straight sexy. Now, would I sacrifice, like at this point, we're playing on a 3080. Going through at 40 frames, we could probably lock at 40 frames and be pretty comfy. For this improved graphical fidelity, I might consider doing that, to be real. Because this is pretty gorgeous. I mean, just look at this. I mean, come on. Come on! And The Witcher isn't one of those games, like, in my opinion, I don't think you need 150 frames or 200 frames a second for The Witcher 3. Is it nice? Yes. But I don't think you need it, you know? How's the lighting underwater? I would be shocked if they made improvements to that. But let's see. Splash. Let's see. Dive, you. Come on. Yeah, it looks about the same. I think you can see through the water a little better up to what's above, but I don't know. It looks the same. Oh, you see that little flicker of yellow? I don't know what that is. Let's see if it does it again. Specifically when the camera goes into the water. You see that? Yeah. Weird. This time again? Yeah, every time we dive, there's a flash of yellow. That's weird. I have no idea why it would be doing that. What is it seeing that flashes yellow? It would make sense if there was like some filter or some like yellow light, like the sun was really bright and then it's reflecting that and it just kind of freaks out. Oh God. We got a bug. Yeah, it's flashing yellow randomly when we're in the water. Okay, let's get out of there. I don't want to have a seizure. Gregor de Gorgon, winner of last year's tourney. He shall not participate in the general competition, but shall fight in the final bout against the knight who earns most points. All signs indicate that Gregoire will defend his title. Did I say Gregor? Wow, cringe. Gregoire. Gregoire. Donnemire, Baron Palmerin de l'Enfant. Orm Akersbach, Prince of Macht. Anse, Prince of Lyria and Rivia. Guy de Bois François of Mettina. Delwyn Cregrar, a young knight. Talais of Donda. And Lenot of Mettina. And Guillaume de l'Enfant. I'm basically fluent. Emphasis on basically. Oh, dear God. I mean, honestly, I don't... Maybe it's because we're on a 3080 and a 5950X. I don't know. If you guys have theories as to why we're not having major issues, I would like to hear them. Because I've heard, like, if you looked on Twitter, and even in this chat, people were saying DS or DX12 is straight up broken. I would not describe this as broken. I would say it needs probably a little bit of polish, some patches for that water bug. But I don't see like huge issues. I don't know what people were expecting with DLSS turned on and ray tracing. I mean, ray tracing Ultra is still a very demanding thing for modern graphics cards. Like, I think it's more of a future-proof thing. And if people were really expecting to get like 150 frames, like, I don't have that much sympathy. But like 45 to 60 frames with ultra ray tracing and all of the improvements to foliage and lighting, I don't have a problem with that. I'm not using an OLED panel right now. I have an OLED TV in my bedroom, and then we use a laser projector in the living room. No, absolutely. Like, yeah, I agree. The fact that my GPU is not being this heavily utilized is freaking weird, and I don't know why. I'm not a techie person to be able to explain why that might be happening, but if it's true and Xbox whatever game tracking is not mistaken, and if my GPU utilization is actually at 35 to 40%, that is a problem. I don't know what the bottleneck is. I would love to hear Digital Foundry talk about it. But the reason why I'm not immediately like believing that number is just because I've had other games where I was playing and then in another, like the Afterburner or whatever tracker, it registered 100% utilization, but this Xbox tracker thought that only like 30 to 40% was being used. So I don't really trust the Xbox GPU tracker, if I'm being real. But Luke, you can't complain because it's free. Yeah. I mean, that's the tricky bit. It's like when people complain about it, it's like, okay, well, cry me a river. It's optional. you don't have to crank it if you don't want to. I don't know. I'm still glad it's free. Let's be, again, just to come back to Earth for a second. This is something that Bethesda game studios and a lot of Xbox studios would right as I close the game. Witcher 3 has crashed. Thank you for that, Windows. But like BGS would have charged $60 for this. Let's be completely real.
Golden_face C's donated $5 through Super Chat.
Thank you, my friend.
Just wanted to say you make some of the best content here on YT.
I appreciate you.
I have no idea how you do it, but keep it up.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you so much. And yeah, no, I don't have much more to say than that. Thank you. Appreciate you. But yeah, all of this just to say, I think a lot of other studios would charge out the ass for this. And so it's really refreshing to see them just come along and offer it for free. Because they don't have to do that. You know, they could have charged ridiculous sums for it. He took my thing!